There's a silent crisis building in our workplaces. It's not about the usual things like layoffs or return to office mandates. No, this is about the very fabric of your attention. And the ironic thing, the very tools we were promised would save us, well, they're at the heart of the problem.
Look, this isn't just about feeling a little overwhelmed. This is a measurable decay of your ability to think. The truth is, the systems that govern how we work, they just haven't kept pace with the technology that's speeding everything up, and your brain is the one paying the price.
13 minutes and 7 seconds. Let that sink in. According to a massive 3-year study of over 160,000 people, that's the average amount of time a knowledge worker today can stay on a single task without being interrupted. Just over 13 minutes.
Now, what's truly alarming is the direction this is heading. That 13-minute window, it's already shrunk by 9% since just 2023. Deep, sustained focus isn't just becoming rare anymore. The data shows it's becoming structurally impossible.
So, how did we get here? To really understand, we have to look at a paradox that's been hiding in plain sight. On the surface, things look pretty good, right? Better than ever, even. But the behavioral data, well, it tells a very different story.
The average workday has actually gotten a bit shorter. It's shrunk by about 2%. And at the same time, our measured productive output has gone up by 5%. We're doing more work in less time. Now, this is the story that leaders love to tell themselves, but it comes at a hidden cost.
All that so-called productivity, it's being funded by fragmentation. Our focus efficiency, that's the time we spend in deep, uninterrupted work, has plummeted to a 3-year low of 60%. And what's replacing it? A 34% surge in collaboration. Emails, pings, meetings. We're trading depth for speed, and it's a trade we are definitely losing.
Researchers actually have a name for this feeling. They call it AI brain fry. It's that cognitive exhaustion you feel from constantly switching tasks, from the information overload, and from having to babysit the very AI tools that were supposed to lighten the load. It's not a bug. It's becoming the core feature of modern work.
So what's the main driver behind this crisis? Well, it's the very technology that promised us a solution. Today, 80% of employees use AI, but its real impact is, well, it's completely counterintuitive. It's not replacing our work. It's just amplifying it.
We were all sold this vision, right? AI handles all the repetitive stuff, freeing us up for deep, creative thinking. But the reality, according to the data, is that AI is just being used as another layer of productivity, which ends up creating more work, not less.
And if you look at a direct analysis of workers before and after they started using AI, the numbers are just staggering. I mean, they're unambiguous. Time spent on email, it exploded by 104%. Chat and messaging, an unbelievable 145% increase. But here's the most telling part. Not a single category of work actually decreased. The capacity AI frees up is just being immediately funneled into more communication and more overhead.
And that right there is the core of the paradox. High-performing employees adopt AI, they do more, and that just raises the bar for everyone else. It's become a productivity arms race, where the only real casualty is our focus.
And the long-term consequences are pretty severe. As Professor Aruna Rangathanan from UC Berkeley warns, this constant workload creep just isn't sustainable. It's a direct path to cognitive overload, burnout, and a real decline in the quality of our most important work, our thinking.
So, if our tools and our systems are failing us, where do we turn? The answer isn't in another app or some new productivity hack. No, it's in understanding our own cognitive wiring. To reclaim our focus, we have to start working with our brain's operating system, not against it.
Have you ever wondered why you can't stop thinking about that one half-finished email or that report you haven't even started? Well, there's a scientific reason for that, and it was discovered in a restaurant back in the 1920s. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. The moment you start a task, you create an open loop in your mind, a kind of mental tension that begs to be closed. So the hardest part is almost always just beginning.
Most of us have the relationship between action and motivation completely backward. We wait around to feel motivated before we act. But cognitive science shows the exact opposite is true. Taking one small, concrete action is what generates the feeling of motivation. Action is the spark, not the result.
When deep work is no longer our default state, focus becomes a strategic asset that you have to actively manage. So what I'm about to show you isn't just another productivity hack. This is a survival protocol, and it's grounded in the science of how our brains actually work.
The protocol is called microflow. It's based on a really simple rule. Just commit to a single task for only 10 minutes. That's it. After those 10 minutes are up, you have full permission to stop. But the magic of this rule is that most of the time you won't want to.
Okay, so let's break down the science behind why this simple protocol is so effective. Committing to just 10 minutes, it dramatically lowers that mental barrier, that activation energy you need to get started. It intentionally triggers the Zeigarnik effect, creating that open loop that pulls you forward. And it puts behavioral activation into practice, using one small action to generate the momentum you are waiting for.
And this micro approach is remarkably effective. Research from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that when we learn in small, focused chunks, like a 10-minute burst, it actually improves knowledge transfer by 17%. It's basically how our brains are designed to absorb information in the first place.
So, here is the prescription. First, choose one task you've been putting off. The bigger the mental block, the better. Second, define the smallest possible first step. Not write the report, but open the document. This lowers the barrier to almost nothing. Third, create a zero distraction zone for just 10 minutes. Fourth, and this is crucial, set a physical timer. It creates external accountability. And finally, just begin, knowing you are totally free to stop when that timer ends.
The tools are only going to get faster. The work is only going to get denser. In this new world, the ability to govern your own attention might be the only real competitive advantage you have left. So the question isn't whether you'll use AI, it's whether you have an operating system to manage yourself in the world that AI is creating.